Boom! Hello and welcome everybody to tonight's explosive, absolutely deadly dinosaur action. As after a night off there, I passed out pretty hard last night, and yeah, just ready to go as always on Arena in Explore Best of 3 and in Mythic right there, and using Etali Primal Conqueror, possibly transforming it into Etali Primal Sickness. But for the most part, it's going to be a fun night. If anybody has suggestions right now, later on, for maybe a card to try, a vehicle perhaps, maybe a little bit more ramp, or you want to hear me talk about something, why it might be good, why they might not, well, go right ahead. As always, the list in the description, and take me a little bit longer just to move myself. I was on the opposite side that I'm usually at, and hopefully everybody's week went good as possible. Happy Friday, and yeah, all that good stuff. Even if it wasn't quite so good, we're gonna have a very good time here. Absolutely amazing, fantastic, super. So maybe I'll make myself a little bit bigger, perhaps. I guess I am covering the subscribe little dino there. I just kind of realized. 1 second. Okay. Off to the races, as it always is. There's the link tree in the description, the Discord, if you like Discord. But right to the thumbnail sake, tonight, Trumpeting Carnosaur, replaced by this. Now, Trumpeting Carnosaur does have that ability to pay 2 in red, discard it, deal 3 damage to a creature or a planeswalker. That's pretty darn fantastic. Instant speed, and you can't counter that ability. It saved me a couple times, but for the most part, I don't always use it, and I will still go back to Trumpeting Carnosaur, but I find myself quite often playing it, or it just enters with the namesake, the deck namesake, Ghalta Stampede Tyrant. And Etali Primal Conqueror would, for the most part, be better than Trumpeting Carnosaur in pretty much every scenario. It has a chance to grab something that is more than a mana value of 5 off the top. Trumpeting Carnosaur has that ability to discover 5. So if there's something costlier, which I always love to use, Carnage, Vaultborn, T-Rex, it could get another Etali. And then that second Etali could get, a Ghalta, another Vaultborn, chain it together quite nicely. However, Etali also steals something from the opponent's deck, and the chances are it won't be super flashy, but sometimes it is pretty darn fantastic. I've stolen a Sheoldred the Apocalypse before, Teferi, Hero of Dominaria. That was quite nice indeed. Or it might just be a piece of removal for the opponent, which could be quite reasonable, taking out somebody big, which I would not have been able to otherwise, and then getting to attack, and they have one less thing to block with. It could lead to lethal, but I am hoping we transform Etali at least once tonight. Usually the opponent just gives up before that. If we are in such a strong position to do so, we'll see, but hey, it's going to be very nice, very scary with both arts there. But yeah, I say we pretty much jump into it. If you are new, if you're wondering, is this way to play dinosaurs legitimate? Absolutely it is. The primer, and of course I can go into more detail, but day in, day out I do play this, so I like to get right into the action. And if you have any questions, ask away. If you think I should try something, well, I may have tried it already. There's a pretty good chance that's the case. Sideboard wise, Crush the Week still in there for aggro stuff, exiles them, which is pretty nice as well. Cease and Desist too. I have faced off against a little bit of Greasefang. It's been a decent bit of aggro. Really, it's been all over the place, so yeah, we'll see. Who knows? It's probably going to be the same opponent either back to back or at least twice in a row. Well, no, not in a row. We'll face the same opponent twice tonight, probably. Spaced out a little bit. Yeah, back to nature, pretty straightforward. Fog as well. So hopefully taking down something aggressive. At least once tonight would be good, but yeah, it's going to be a good time. Always a good time. A big dead. The deck is a lot of big creatures, but they're going to be big time dead, I think, with Etali. We're getting Etali Primal Conqueror down a couple times. I can basically guarantee that with like a 95% certainty. Finding an opponent right away, that is pretty darn fantastic. Oh, I don't think I've faced this opponent before. Huh. Well, I got a perfect hand. Starting off the night, absolutely amazing. Doesn't matter. Thoughtseize don't care. I do care. But I am eventually making 6, and they cannot stop it. You saw why I kept that hand instantly. I mean, hopefully I get to go off with Archdruid's Charm, but there's a pretty good chance that Commune... Oh, well, I would say partially a goof. Now, I could have gone with Stomping Ground to use Commune to dig for something, but I felt like, hey, they might not have... Well, I could go with Commune now. You know what? We're going to go with Commune now. I like another Sunken. That actually is pretty darn fantastic. Just getting it down. Archdruids could be used to grab something else. Potentially. We are on track. Oh, well, that's okay. Now that is saving us quite a bit. I was going to use the Archdruids later on to get a second Sunken, but we already got the second Sunken, and well, their chances might be Sunken. As long as we can land Carnage Tyrant, I think we should be in a pretty good position. We're looking at Golgari, black and green, mid-range potentially. Hopefully, crossing my fingers, they don't make me sacrifice Carnage Tyrant. We don't exactly have to play somebody, but at the very least, Carnage Tyrant could deter a little bit of aggression from the opponent. It could be Liliana the Veil, Invoke Despair. Oh, Gix, not too bad. Not too bad at all. If we draw anything else big, which everything pretty much is big next turn, there's a reasonable chance they could just be dead. Oh, that's too bad. At the very least, I might be able to attack with Ghalta. Now, of course, they could kill Ghalta with their bit of removal. Furiously, frantically mousing over those lands, cursing their luck. Kind of cursing my luck that I didn't get a Vaultborn Tyrant or a T-Rex, somebody big. Maybe we're safe. Is kind of hard to say, but we'll leave those 3 creatures behind, and I think we should be okay, depending on the aggression from the opponent. I'm just hoping they don't have removal on Ghalta. Oh, well, that is good to hear. Good to hear. If you're in plat, you're going to be to diamond, and eventually you can get to mythic. If I can get to mythic, anybody can get to mythic using this deck. I'm just glad again that I'm there, pretty early into the month. I'm okay taking out a Sheoldred, absolutely. Now they could have a second one. Hopefully that's not the case. Do they have just a fatal push? I could see them having just a fatal push on the token there. Oh, look at that. Another Sheoldred, maybe. Perhaps. I still have 2 creatures. I can block Gix. Okay, well, no. I guess they're just dead. They're just dead. Oh. You joined at the right time. Absolutely. Do I want to keep things the same? I could see so. Nothing here particularly helps. Golgari mid-range, Rakdos mid-range. There's a reasonable chance to beat them, and I'm sure you're facing them in Platinum, well, pretty much any level. Everybody loves this deck. It's all around fantastic, does a lot of good stuff, but sometimes I get to do a lot of good stuff. You guys might get to do a lot of good stuff. Oh, 100, well, that's a problem for me too. Absolutely. Pretty much the main game plan against those aggressive decks, mono red, rats or mice, Golgari, something like that. Aggressive stuff. Oh, absolutely. The game is over in 3 turns. But the main plan against any sort of aggro is to simply not face them. And there you go. You just say, I'm not going to face them for a streak. And that'll help you get to diamond, and it's pretty simple. Pretty simple. Yeah, yeah. Oh, definitely fog helps. And it is pretty nice on the wildcard budget, being an uncommon, but yeah, that's like a half joke there. You'll just hope to face, well, to not face aggro for a reasonable amount of time, that you can get a good streak against some favorable matchups and try to do your best against them. But well, this deck, well, this hand would not be the best. And oh, well, not that either. Okay, well, that's going to be it. Sending both creatures to the bottom. We had to mulligan twice, so we got to keep it as stable as possible. Very nice to see that. Continuing to grab the lands. I mean, kind of hoping there's a Sunken Citadel on top next turn, but definitely playing that commercial Deep Cavern Bat, taking Archdruid's Charm is a little bit rough, but at least we use Commune with Dinosaurs, 100%. If you think they're going to have Thoughtseize or Duress, you use that. You get it out of the way, you turn it into something that simply can't be discarded. Man, I would have liked that Archdruid's Charm. Oh. Get the Stomping Ground down. It was going to enter at some point. I wasn't going to play anything for 3, so I might as well save myself from taking 2 with the shock of having it enter untapped. Arboreal Grazer. Oh, absolutely. Maybe you have a Sunken, you have 2 Sunkens, Arboreal Grazer. Putting a tap land out. It's quite fantastic, and yes, definitely being a 0/3 body with reach. The reach is important on the Arboreal Grazer. Ooh, the Phrexian. I think our chances have mostly obliterated. Now, all of a sudden, since we drew a Sunken, if we draw a Ghalta Stampede Tyrant next turn, they die. Maybe we lose one Etali. Maybe we lose a Regis or Alpha. I don't know. That would be pretty darn fantastic. But yeah, Arboreal Grazer, it's never a bad choice. Perhaps it may not be the best choice. I don't use it all the time, but it's a common, it's a decent body, protects some stuff, gets a land down extra sometimes. Hopefully we keep both Etali. Okay, not too bad. All right. Let's see how it goes. Ghalta. Oh, Palani's Hatcher. That's not too bad. I want to make a 6/6 demon. Yeah, I like making a 6/6 demon. This is pretty cool. I'll take it. Yes, please. Huh. Of course, we're not attacking. We wait until we have lethal, so it doesn't matter how much damage was dealt to the Phyrexian Obliterator there. And hopefully we're safe for next turn. Of course, they could have a sweeper, but I mean, yeah. I didn't attack because if Etali dealt 7 damage to the Phyrexian Obliterator, we would have to sacrifice 7 permanents, and I don't want to do that. Yeah, those shucks. I stole your unholy Annex and Ritual Chamber. I would have to say in that instance, Etali, which would have been trumpeting Carnosaur, Etali was definitely better. I tapped 6 lands. I still made the 2 red plus the 5. 6 lands to play a creature that costs 7, which is Etali, so it's still kind of ahead of schedule. Wow. It's pretty neat. It's also pretty cool that I'll play the other Etali next turn. It's only a problem for so long. They cannot attack with Phyrexian Obliterator because then it would be tapped for me next turn to attack into them. So basically, at the moment, we're only taking 1 a turn. I have so much damage I could kill them. If they attacked with Phrexian, I would just take the 5, and they don't want to do that. That's not too bad. I don't mind. Are they also going to kill a oh. Oh, they got this silly dumb deck. Yeah, you got that cheese. It's Golgari, Phyrexian Obliterator fighting. I should have known better. Huh. Well, we'll just have to pop off and yeah, they cheesed us. That's okay. Oh, I know. Sometimes you just lose. That hand, we could just win. Absolutely fantastic to see that Castle Garenbrig. Lovely. Both Castle Garenbrigs, because they could have a little bit of land destruction there. Beseiju, who endures, but also seeing the Sylvan and the Archdruid's charm. We should be in a good position. Very, very nice indeed. Going slightly slower, Sylvan Scrying, it can only ever be a land. It's going to be that Sunken will play it next. Oh, okay. Things are ticking along. Absolutely, Squad Painter. Let's go 100%. If they're not careful, they're dead. They're dead next turn if they don't have hand hate. It's that simple. You play Shieldred, you die. But again, I am a little bit wary of that Beseiju. Oh, let's hope that doesn't happen. Oh boy. Here goes nothing. Thoughtseize. Don't oh boy, what's this? Shieldred. Intense. Oh.
I'd like to take this chance to apologize to absolutely nobody.
You die. You just die. You're dead. Definitely dead. I would think so. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Send the dinosaur egg in to send a message. Smoked. All right. They messed me up, and I messed them up right after. Taste of your own medicine. Your entire... absolutely.
Grant me revenge. And if you do not listen, then the hell with you.
Yes. Definitely, Squad Painter. Actually, I just realized my little dino is slightly bigger than usual. Okay, gotta get him centered right on top. Whew. But yeah, their entire thing is Phyrexian Obliterator, fight a creature, and excuse me, I'm drinking a lime bubbly, so it's yeah, burps. But yeah, Phyrexian Obliterator, make it big, fight a creature on the opponent's side, so they have to sacrifice stuff, and there you go. Control the game a little bit with other things, but sometimes you're just so deadly you don't care if you're facing down against that Obliterator. I obliterated them quite nicely. Yes, nice to have a good start, but as it has happened before, I could face that very same opponent once again. Maybe just maybe they'll quit right away. It'll wait like 2 minutes or something find that same opponent. Yeah, we'll see. I think Etali Primal Conquerors, maybe try it for a couple days here. See if I really do miss that trumpeting Carnosaur. Again, I played Etali Primal Conqueror at the same point in time as I could have played Carnosaur. One of them costs one more, being Etali there for 7, so if I can play them roughly at the same time, usually, might as well be Etali. Yeah. We'll see if I run into scenarios where the discarding well, it's not cycling, but the discarding part of Carnosaur to deal 3 damage would have saved me, but it's not too many cases where that happens. Usually doesn't. There was that one match a couple nights ago where I killed the Mutavault and they had 3 unholy annexes out. I was about to be drained for 6, but killed it before the end of turn because they tried to attack with it. And poof. Hopefully this opponent is poof, because it could be Azorius control with the Teferi avatar there. Or they might be trying to surprise me. That hand could work. If it was something other... Oh, good. Something other than a Sunken Citadel, I wouldn't have tried it, but 2 Commune, Sylvan, and Archdruids, oh yeah. Of course, I would imagine that they'll counter this. Oh, they don't. Oh, Stomping Ground, good stuff. Try and go off with another Commune, see what... Oh, I like another Sunken. Of course, Cavern of Souls could have been good. Counter spell protection. Oh, no, it's... oh, never mind.
Dang! Oh!
Well, we're facing off against Azorius Lotus Field. That is problematic. And we'll see how it goes. I'm going to try and kill Teferi if at all possible with Tyrannosaurus Rex, but there's a good chance. We'll see. We'll see how much mana... Oh, yeah. Let me guess. You have a discontinuity. It costs 6 if they cast it on our turn, so hopefully they don't have it. They could also have removal for T-Rex, removal for 2, and able to pay the ward 4 cost. Yes. Oh, good.
No.
That was the biggest thing we could have possibly done. They were going to continually untap those Lotus Fields. And well, that just could not happen. Alright. Huh. Interesting. Well, they still can't exile it. That's actually kind of hilarious. It looks like it's... well, kind of regular Azorius Lotus Field, using that particular land to make a bunch of mana Teferi to untap them, but it's not like they combo off, they just have that land as a way to make a bunch more. Sunfall, not too bad. We get a Ghalta next turn, they are dead. Etali could get Ghalta. That'd be pretty good. I might just do that. Yeah, well, let's see what Etali gets. Ghalta. Ooh, another Etali. Hey, let's go. March of Otherworldly Light. Yeah. Let's take out that token. Oh, Ghalta. Oh, no, Regis or Alpha. That's pretty good. I'm not doing strict Proctor. I can tell you that much. I like Etali more than trumpeting Carnosaur. I'll tell you that much. In these moments, of course, this is a very small sample size. Seeing what Etali can do, and we could run into some scenarios where I would prefer that trumpeting Carnosaur. Yeah. Keep going with the Vaultborn. See what happens. There it is. Tapping both Lotus fields for a total of 6 to play their second discontinuity. They ran out of options. But what won me the game? Right there. Taken out Teferi. Gunning for that guy. Big time. Oh, keep it the same. Definitely. Man, that was pretty sweet. I'm just glad it's not Lotus Field combo, you know. You sit through 10 minutes of them going through their entire deck to find their one win condition. It's not a lot of fun. And sometimes they can fizzle or their timer just runs out, I believe. I think for the most part, anybody still playing Lotus Field probably has gotten through that issue. They've gotten a little bit faster at clicking, so their timer doesn't run out, but I think sometimes that can still happen. Everything looks good. Got a strange notification. Huh. Yeah, seems all right. They're probably scratching their head though. Definitely scratching their head, wondering what they could possibly do. They tried just about everything. They had all kinds of sweepers. They had Teferi. They had Wandering Emperor. Sunfalls, discontinuities. I don't know. I've never really tried it. I've never really thought about trying it, but I think if I had to compare that to Etali Primal Conqueror, I'd still would lean towards Etali. Well, speaking of, getting her again, or him, I'm not sure, but Bonehorde Dracosaur, yes, it definitely could be pretty darn fantastic. Hoping to see another Sunken here, huh? A Ghalta. You know what? I'd like a Ghalta. Still going with the Force, seeing if... Oh, good. We found another Sunken. That is going to be very important. We want to reach a critical amount of mana where I can pay a tax of 2 on Ghalta to get other stuff down, hopefully. Of course, I'm hoping that a Strict Proctor just goes away. I'll try for Carnage Tyrant. That could draw out a sweeper from them, getting rid of those Strict Proctors and allow me to devastate them. Certainly would be ideal. Hopefully. Crossing my fingers at least. They see the Ghalta. They have to leave those Strict Proctors there. They can't sweep to get rid of Carnage Tyrant. But they are getting a few creatures themselves, and those Strict Proctors are going to get a little bit bigger over time, really start to chip away, but we do have quite a few turns at least. 4 turn, and then next turn it's 5. Okay. A little rough. We might simply die. Oh! The Horned Lock Whale. Interesting. Very interesting. I'm just trying for a Sylvan Scrying. Grab some more lands, play it. That sort of thing. Wait and see what they do. Archdruid's Charm, I'll try to look for more lands. But okay, that's also pretty darn good. They are tapped out, which is quite nice indeed. We'll grab that lovely Cavern of Souls and make 6, 7, 8. If we get one more land next turn, we would be able to pay a tax of 2, but they still have 2 Strict Proctors. This is going to be certainly quite problematic. Mostly dead. That Horned Locked Whale is no fun. No fun. But I think I should try. Bonehorde Dracosaur at some point here. Yeah, well, they got us with some creatures. Rough stuff. Don't want to try anything? Nah. Nothing's really gonna help. We're on the play. That's really what it's all about. It's the most important thing. Oh, love it. Beautiful. I would say basically perfect. Starting off with the Sunken. If I didn't have the Sunken Citadel, I wouldn't have felt quite as strong, but 4 lands, Sunken, Sylvan Scrying, hopefully going off with that. We should be. Just because we are on the play, there's not a very good chance that they'll have some sort of answer for 1. Well, if they don't, they're tapped out. So we are guaranteed to get that Castle Garenbrig and keep on trucking. And we have to grab it here. We're hoping there's no strict proctor, but Tyrannix Rex might just scare him away. If it can reach that nice, critical mass. We don't need a Palanese Hatcher at all, a second one. I already have a Regisaur and a Palanese in my hands. Okay. It's not too bad. Strict proctor time. Oh. They're going to be scared when we drop Tyrannix Rex, I can tell you that much. I'm going to pretend like I don't have a Cavern of Souls, and then they're going to hold up counter spells continually, thinking they can counter the next thing that I play, something other than T-Rex, but they can't counter the Regisaur or the... Oh. Did I have fun that match? I sure did. Huh. Well, hopefully we can keep the ball rolling. This is a pretty fantastic start. Yeah, T-Rex sometimes. Well, T-Rex wrecks. T-Rex puts the wreck in wrecking opponents. Etali performing. T-Rex. Yeah. Definitely. Hopefully you get some good rest. Sleep well. Might be tired after the week, so yeah. See if I break my record here. All-time record of waiting 2 minutes and 30 seconds. Or it's just going to be the same Azorius Lotus Field opponent, and maybe they will AFK. That hasn't happened in quite some time, but it has happened before. I beat somebody and then I faced them right again, and it wasn't so great. Anoki, Mythic number 666. That's scary stuff. Using the Jaya, a mono red planeswalker. I think there's a good chance we're just dead because, again, it is something aggressive. I do like that hand though, with the Sylvan and the Archdruids plus the Commune. A lot of digging for the lands that... Oh, well, okay. It went from pretty good to perfect. But I would say perfect. Yeah, we're grabbing Castle. We're making 7 on turn 4, playing that T-Rex and seeing what the opponent does after that. But it is Kruger the Macro Sage. This could be... Oh, yeah, Quintorius combo. We are possibly just dead next turn when they do their thing. Yeah. You play Quintorius. I've got my concede button ready. Oh boy. Concede. Oh. Well. They didn't have Quintorius on turn 4. Can't be doing that. I like this though. If we get another land that enters untapped next turn, we'll go with Commune to dig for Ghalta to give ourselves the best. Nah. I'm just playing T-Rex. We're hoping they don't have Quintorius next turn, but really could be happening. It could be trumpeting Carnosaur, so it doesn't really matter too much. Either Quintorius or trumpeting, and we still die. Concede. Concede? Huh? Yeah, well, that's how she goes. You play Quintorius, you win. And basically, they discover certain spells, enchantments, or creatures. Spark Double is one of them from War of the Spark. It enters, copies Quintorius. Even though Quintorius is a legendary permanent, they get to have two. And then with the second Quintorius, they discover again, and they chain it all together. I don't have Pithing Needle. Pithing Needle is the pretty fantastic thing to beat this deck. An artifact for one. As long as I name Quintorius canned, they can't activate its discover ability to start the chain going, but they might also have, well, they do also have Trumpeting Carnosaur, which I was just using yesterday, which has the discover ability, and the only hits are something that can copy Trumpeting Carnosaur, which could get Quintorius canned to copy that, and yeah, basically we just hope they don't pop off, pretty much. A Trumpeting Carnosaur actually could have saved me getting rid of Quintorius canned if they played it. When Quintorius uses the discover ability there, we have a small window where Trumpeting Carnosaur could take it out, and anything they get with the discover just wouldn't be able to copy anybody, which is quite nice indeed. Sending Cavern to the bottom because this opponent does not have counter spells, and we still have quite a few lands. There's a very good possibility I would just get completely flooded if I kept the Cavern of Souls instead of Vaultborn Tyrant. I was kind of hoping for a Sunken, but at the very least, we're making 7. We're making 7. Hopefully that's good enough. It would be nice to play Etali. That would be kind of funny to get my own Quintorius canned. At the very least, I'll play Vaultborn Tyrant, and we'll see if they stumble. Can't win them all, though, that's for sure. And well, sometimes you just there's nothing to do. You don't have anything in the sideboard to help against some wacky, completely uncommon deck. Play another land and you win. Let's see. Oh, that was a fast one. Oh, there's nothing to debate. There's no, oh, what could I have done differently with the list that I have tonight? There's nothing. Would I have Pithing Needle? Pithing Needle would help actually against Greasefang a little bit. If we name a specific vehicle, that can't be crewed. If Greasefang cheats it out, Pithing Needle could shut off any problematic Planeswalker, but there isn't any Planeswalker just in general that I'm scared of, that I normally face. And again, if you name Quintorius canned, they just play Trumpeting Carnosaur and they get the chain going eventually anyways. Yeah. A Damping Sphere helps against that deck. Again, it also hurts me, but it taxes those spells for free. If they spend all their mana, they can't play even the one spell that they grab. They've already cast one, and that first one will have a cost of 1 and then 2, but sometimes they can play 1 or 2 spells they find, but for the most part, they're up the creek. They gotta wait. Something like High Noon, players can only cast 1 spell a turn. Really, that's probably the best option for that particular deck. It's all about casting multiple things. But when I do one thing, I get everything, because my one thing is Ghalta Stampede Tyrant. Maybe it's going to be Mill with that Jace avatar. Well, that hand is amazing. Absolutely. Try for the turn 1 Commune because I have a turn 2 play with Sylvan Scrying. Oh, nice to see another Castle Garenbrig. Might as well. Just to feel comfortable. The Orion Sky, no. Okay. We got this town ain't big enough. Discard, bounce, Demir. Discard, bounce. I think we should still be on track. We go slow to go fast. We'll reach a pretty critical amount of mana and get rid of a commercial district, possibly. Yeah. I wasn't playing commercial district at any point. We'll get rid of the forest too, because we also don't need it. But as long as it's just, a little bit of discard here and there, I think we could play Ghalta. Of course, they have thought seizes and stuff too, so that's not fun. Okay. Not too bad. Not too bad indeed. Okay. If they tap out, they're mostly dead. I can get rid of a forest. Doesn't matter. Again, they could have thought seize. Hopefully they don't. If they have duress, there's nothing to get rid of. Maybe they have a little bit of land destruction, but I don't think they would have Field of Ruin. But they are about to die. Likely. They could also make me get rid of a ton of stuff. That's okay. That's okay. I'll get rid of my forest. No worries. Don't have a counterspell though. Oh boy. Oh boy. Oh boy, don't have a counterspell. I bet they do. They might. They might not. We'll see. Oh, they die. Gotcha. This town ain't big enough. This game ain't big enough for... something about dinosaurs being big. There's some sort of saying there. I should prepare for that a little bit more just because this deck is very, very common indeed. I'm kind of excited to see what Etali Primal Conqueror gets. Yeah, I get my own nowhere to run. Yeah. Oh yeah? So that's what you want to do. Okay. Fear of isolation, fear of dinos is more like it. Send the eggs in. Send a message.
Ruthless aggression.
Hey, I like Etali Primal Conqueror again. Not that getting rid of nowhere to run their own was going to help, or fear of isolation, that was tapped. It still would have been basically the same, but was a little bit more damage. Etali being slightly more powerful than Trumpeting Carnosaur. I'm pretty sure. Oh, Trumpeting Carnosaur is a 7/6. What's Etali? 7. Either way, it's probably going to be better in the long run if we remove the ability of Carnosaur to deal damage when you discard it. If I pretend like that doesn't exist, I would probably move Etali Primal Conqueror to being, a little bit higher than Carnosaur, but still, they're somewhat similar. Pretty similar. At least they're scared. They gotta be scared after that. I would be. Okay, we know what they are. Bunch of discard, hopefully keeping the first or second hand up. Absolutely. Not too bad. We'll still go off with Sunken. We're going to have communes if they have hand hate, that sort of thing. But the most important thing is I kept my opening hand. I kept all the lands. I didn't even have to send one to the bottom. I feel pretty good about our chances. I'm grabbing more lands. You're not stopping me. They will probably get rid of Sylvan Scrying, I bet. It's got to be Sylvan Scrying. But maybe not. Maybe they'll make a mistake. Maybe they'll think I have only 1 or 2 Vaultborns, and that's what they should get rid of. No. The Vaultborn Tyrant, if you're using any amount, you're using all 4. Because it's that good. It's pretty simple. Huh. Regisaur Alpha. Now that is interesting. I mean, we are probably dead just to the otter aggression from the opponent. Whenever Storm Chaser's talent enters, it makes that, oh, I'll play the Sunken. But it makes that, oh, I'll grab a Ghalta. Huh, this is looking good. Better and better and better. We could be dealt 3-ish this turn. Okay, 4, 6. Well, we could be dealt 6. I think there's a very real possibility. A Thoughtseize coming in hot. Maybe getting rid of that Ghalta because they saw how painful it was the first game. But 2 early otters, 2 or 3, it's not pretty. Yeah, you're getting rid of Big G. OG. Oh darn. If we can land Vaultborn Tyrant, we might be able to buy ourselves a decent bit of time. Certainly Sylvan Scrying. We're getting Castle Garenbrig. That goes without saying. Yeah. Commercial district. We got the Vaultborn to potentially play. I don't need another Castle Garenbrig on top. I was thinking of having Stomping Ground shocked, but I mean, we already have to play. Hopefully. They probably have a bunch more hand hate. If it's something that makes me choose what to discard, Stomping Ground will get rid of, or possibly one of those communes. Well, not too bad. Only hit for 4. Playing that Vaultborn Tyrant is going to help us stabilize quite a bit, and we can block one of those dastardly otters. Digging next turn with Commune, hopefully finding another Vaultborn or Ghalta. We're pretty darn flooded at the moment. I think they could kill it. Hopefully they don't bounce it. This town ain't big enough. Bouncing Vaultborn, and then they'll probably bounce their own Storm Chaser's talent, and we're mostly dead at that point. Yeah, we would be, I think. This town plus the Storm Chasers would get those otters to 3-3. That's 9 damage right there, plus the 2 from Fear of Isolation. Cooked? Oh, not cooked. Oh. Well, this is good. Stabilization initiated. Still, I want to search for Ghalta. Good old Ghalta, absolutely. Of course, we do have to play a little bit. Gain some life, feel good about things, and not attack. Absolutely not attack. 2 blockers for the otters. I think we should be safe. Taking a little bit of a risk, grabbing that Ghalta. I'm okay with that, absolutely. That's not going to save them. I think there's a very good chance they're dead. As long as I have more than 2 life, I can shock myself with the Stomping Ground. I can use Commune to dig for something nice for the Ghalta turn, and yeah. We'll wait and see. The game is not over yet, but there's a pretty good chance that they're cooked. Oh, they're cooked. They're toasted. Smoked. Super smoked. Oh, and Etali Primal Conqueror to boot. This is what it's all about, folks. This is why you watch Stampede Dinos, or you play them. Subscribe if you haven't already. Take a big bite out of that like button. Oh boy. Yeah. This town ain't big enough. Huh. Well, how about that? I think I'm just gonna bounce a bunch of your things. Yeah, make those otters disappear. They're tokens, so they never come back. Yeah, I like that. You guys probably like that too. Who doesn't like seeing the pain get dealt to this deck? This deck ain't good enough. That's the saying, yeah.
I'm the best there is at what I do, but what I do isn't very nice.
All right. What time is it? Ooh, 11:20. Now maybe I can talk about some card choices. Take us to an hour or so. I still want to organize a bunch of my tools, and I have a lot of stuff to clean. I know Thunderblade, that is a good amount of dinos. Some of you guys may be just joining, but yeah, we do have a house showing tomorrow at 10 o'clock. So we're trying to clean quite a bit. At least I'm trying to clean. You can imagine with 2 kids, 1 2.5, 1 4.5, things don't stay clean for long, and there could be a house showing. We could get a notification and it could be set up for the very next day, and then all of a sudden, oh, organize stuff, do multiple loads of dishes, laundry, clean the bathroom, and maybe find time to organize my tools or reorganize an opponent's life total. At the very least, tonight was absolutely fantastic, and I would say Etali performed beautifully, but still, use it some more, get an even bigger sample size. Maybe some of you think it's overkill, but you know what it is? Always kill. Yeah, there you go. You're going to kill so many different opponents, such a wide range of board states that the opponent might have. You're just going to plow right through, kill them all the time, get the job done. Don't care what they've done. In a lot of cases, do they have a counter spell? Doesn't matter. You've got Cavern of Souls to land Ghalta, to land everything. Everything has haste. Sometimes you steal stuff. Yeah, we beat this deck. I think in the chapters I'm going to call it "This Deck Ain't Good Enough." Yeah, I think that's what we stick with. Oh, of course I had fun. Absolutely. But yeah, maybe dedicate a few minutes here. Different card choices. Arbor Grazer was mentioned, but vehicles. We've been talking quite a bit on the Discord, and again, join that if you haven't already. If you like Discords, I don't always talk about dinos. Just a lot of the time, maybe I get a rare wild card here. That would be quite nice. Oh, Curse Cloth wrapping. I've never seen it played before, but I have played against some zombie tribal decks. Very scary stuff. Perhaps this is just too costly for those decks, but it seems like it does something pretty fantastic. Makes them all pretty powerful. Of course, there's zombies that give other zombies +1/+1, and you might as well have a creature itself that powers up everything else than something that only powers up that specific creature type. Okay. Vehicles. That's the name of the game. But also tonight is a good illustration. Would a vehicle, 4 of a specific vehicle, have been better than Etali? I'm pretty sure there isn't any vehicle that would have performed better, but that's okay. Just because something doesn't perform better doesn't mean I'm not going to use it. Doesn't mean you guys don't have to use it. Try things out. Of course, I'm always playing Dinosaurs. 700 probably streamed by now. Maybe 750. So I've got the time to do some interesting stuff to at least highlight why perhaps some card choice might not be quite as good. For the most part, though, I like to keep it as good as it possibly can be, at least in my mind. Some of you guys find success in slightly different ways, or you play completely different dinosaur variations. Commander Crane having some good success with that. A Carnosaur Rex. Yeah, Wrecking people. Rexing people. Yeah, okay. Vehicles. Vehicle time. Vehicle. No, not. My goodness. Okay, it's not that hard of a word to spell. We'll stick to mono green vehicles or the green and red stuff, but I'll leave it at green right there. And I'll actually remember this time to choose not collected, because I'm sure there's a few from Ether Drift that I don't have. Okay. Yeah. We did mention about Thunderous Velocipede a little bit. I want to say maybe a week or two ago. For 3, pretty easy. And it's not put down by Ghalta, so that is a big thing. And it might not be much of a drawback having this. Chances are you'll still have quite a few other creatures in your hand for Ghalta to put down. This being left, maybe. But you'll be cursing yourself when you play everything with Ghalta, and Thunderous Velocipede could have been any creature, because that would have been put out as well. You might as well put everything out. That's not going to help you on a Ghalta turn, and turn 4 after you've been ramping, because it is a little bit awkward here. Something for 3. You're playing Archdruid's Charm before the Thunderous Velocipede all the time, pretty much. Turn 4, when oftentimes you can make 6, but oftentimes you can make 7 on turn 4. You're not playing an artifact for 3. That would feel absolutely terrible. You have 4 lands, Sunken, 2 Sunkens, a Forest, and a Castle Garenbrig, let's say. You're tapping 3 of that. You basically have 4 mana for something that isn't a creature, or 7 mana for stuff that is a creature. 7 is a lot better than 4. 7 is ahead of schedule. 4 is just the total number of lands you have. That doesn't quite sit right with me. I think it's a pretty easy illustration, a pretty easy case to make, but some vehicle, something that isn't a creature, would have to be absolutely nuts. Busted, possibly costing 2, so I could sneak it in during those early turns a little bit easier. Something for 1. There's not a lot of crazy stuff for 1 or 2. Then you get to 3. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. Should it just be an absolute no? Don't even consider it? No. I think it's right to consider things, even if the stuff might not be super good. You could be turned on to some interesting strategy or something new to try out. It might not be a vehicle that you add when you're considering vehicles, but it might remind you of some creature with maybe similar abilities that you forgot existed, and then you're like, hey, I want to try that out, or just a different way of playing. But for the most part, things are pretty tuned, I would say. But yeah, Thunderous Velocipede, make everything bigger, but also each other vehicle and creature you control enters with an additional 1/1 counter if its mana value is 4 or less. Everything, the creatures have a mana value greater than 4, so they enter with 3 counters. I have to assume, though, a Railway Brawler is basically just better. The creatures enter with counters, or when they enter, you put counters on them equal to their power, which these things have more power than 3. You know, Planie's Hatcher gets 5 counters, that sort of thing. But Railway Brawler and this both kind of happen. Their effects happen at the same point in time. You have to have the thing out before for the creatures to get that permanent boost with those counters. So if Railway Brawler is a creature, that would be preferable. Plotting it could be quite nice, protecting it from potential hand hate, but for the most part I would want it in my hand for the Ghalta turn. I wouldn't want to play it for free, then it gets killed. It could just be in my hand, Ghalta just enters, and by that point it's too late. Railway Brawler enters with every other creature, and you might not think they get the counters on it sometimes, but Railway Brawler's ability does see all of those. It's as if they entered and Railway Brawler was out already. They just get bigger permanently. Yeah. It's hard to say. Maybe you didn't even know Railway Brawler was a creature. It is pretty recent, so there's a pretty good chance you were aware of it, but you're searching for similar effects. Is there a creature that does something like this? And then you learn about Railway Brawler, you're like, hey, I'm using that instead of Thunderous Velocipede. I could see that happening too. I should look for cheap vehicles. Okay, we'll choose a mana value 1 to 3. See if there's anything kind of interesting in that range. I don't think so, but worth a shot. Lumbering Worldwake, and that really was one that was, pointed out for sure. But we pay 3 to get a basic land onto the battlefield. This is also a very important thing. I don't have a lot of basics, and there's not really any room to add any more. You can trim whatever lands you want, but I don't exactly want to do that. I could add more forests. Could be mountains, but for the most part it would stay forest. I don't want to trim Stomping Ground, but it's nice to have that red sometimes, and definitely very important to have red for Etali. However, Etali might be the spot that is trimmed to make way for Lumbering Worldwake, and again we're comparing this to, at the moment, Etali. Yeah, I would have to lean towards this. Often enough, basically all the time tonight, I was able to make enough mana to play this. It's not like I needed the extra mana, the extra basic land, and oftentimes this wouldn't really be turned into a creature. Usually. It's not like I need the extra basic lands. Two basic lands is not going to do much. 2 basic lands from this is like 1 sunken from Sylvan Scrying. Sunken taps for 2, and usually you can't use it for a creature, but as always it's going towards Castle Garenbrig, so we do get to use that too. Lumbering Worldwake doesn't beat out Archdruid's Charm. That grabs a land that technically taps for 2, puts it right on the battlefield. That's better, more efficient, for sure. I would never trim Palanisaur or Redusaur. Carnage Tyrant would not be trimmed. Vaultborn, no. I always keep them in. I would never cut Vaultborn, pretty much in any matchup. Tyrannosaurus Rex, I won because of Tyrannosaurus Rex. I would have lost if Tyrannosaurus Rex was Lumbering Worldwake, and of course the namesake too. Commune with Dinosaurs, I mean, that's the bread and butter. It's smooth. It makes everything nice and consistent. Consistency is king, and we have one of the best consistency spells in the game for a specific deck. You play a Sunken turn 1, turn 2 you play Commune, you might find a second Sunken, you put it out, boom, all of a sudden you're 4 closer with 2 lands. You only need a Castle Garenbrig and you're making 6. You might have a Castle Garenbrig in your hand already, but if you have a Commune, you always use it to try and find a Sunken. So you can see everything here. Nothing feels super good for Lumbering Worldwagon, but still, I'll try it at some point, perhaps, maybe. But I think that case is, pretty strong to perhaps not use it. And maybe you have a few copies of Etali. I think everybody gets 1 copy for free from starter decks or something, so certainly very fun to try out. And any other vehicle, well, Unlicensed Hearse. I mean, that would be in the sideboard for the Graveyard Hate, but Cease and Desist, I think, is probably my favorite. Gain some life, take out 2 things, the 2 vehicles from Greasefang, 2 Arclight Phoenixes, potentially. This should be enough. And stabilize just a touch and draw a card to get closer to maybe a Ghalta that you're waiting on. If only you see a Castle Garenbrig, boom. Something like that. 1 turn sooner, plus stopping. Specific graveyard strategies. Maybe not so much some deck that relies on just having a bunch of cards in the graveyard. Yeah. But yeah, unlicensed hearse in the past has been used. I've used it a little bit, but I don't feel like it. Not quite. And any other vehicle, it doesn't seem super necessary. We really should talk a little bit about Lifecraft Engine, though. That is quite interesting. As an entries, we choose a creature type. I think I would probably choose Dinosaurs for this. And then they all get +1/+1. Yeah. Vehicles you control to... Okay, so it's a dinosaur when it's crewed. Is this better than Regal Imperiosaur? No. No, it's not. Regal Imperiosaur is a 5/4. 3 for a 5/4 that makes other dinos +1/+1. Yeah, that's Regal Imperiosaur is just strictly better than this. Okay, so I guess the gist of it is perhaps there is no vehicle at the moment that is so necessary and better than anything I have right now. But of course, it's always fun to debate. I'm happy to debate certain choices. What might work for you, that might work for me. Even though I play this the most, I do like the suggestions, and there is a chance it could make me better. If anything makes me better, I'm all for it. Better and better all the time. Practice makes better. Never perfect, but better. All right. I think we'll end it there for tonight. Hopefully everybody had a good time watching right now. Later on, whenever it is, stay ruthless, I guess, and have a good rest of your time zone. Get some good rest, and peace.
Are you not entertained? Are you not entertained?